Not optimistic, no, no. I mean, until now, it is quite a disappointing conference. This is my 5th conference now, and if you see the mood here, it's really down, and there is really no tension, as if nothing needs to happen. And it's of course very strange if we know how climate is changing, and here it seems that everyone doesn't really care and have the feeling, oh, we can postpone all the really difficult issues. So therefore, not very optimistic. And also on the role of the EU, it's quite disappointing, because last year in Durban we played a good role, you know, by getting some more, you know, the developing countries making very clear that we are here also to act. But this year, I mean, on the famous hot air, the AAUs, the financing, the EU is divided, unclear. It's not the leader that it should be.
Although that's not the message that Connie Hedegaard put out, that the EU is well on the way to meeting its targets, its 20% target. It's got 18%. The rest of the world should be following Europe. She did make reference to hot air, to the AAUs, but without talking about how to resolve that problem. I mean, how big a problem are the AAUs, the hot air, in Europe representing a united front?
Well, it is a big problem because the EU is not united on the issue. So of course Connie Hedegaard is saying that the EU is playing its role. What else can she say? But behind that, we all know on the AAUs the EU is divided. We still have no position, no formal position. We all know it's Poland blocking. So the EU is divided on this issue. We were divided last year and the year before, and now it needs to be solved in 2 days. Come on, EU, why are we still divided? And how big is the issue? Well, it's true that in Kyoto 2 itself, with the current ambitions, probably no one wants to buy the hot air. However, we are always claiming that we need more ambition. The EU is indeed on track to meet the minus 20%. So therefore the EU, as a consequence, should say, if we are on track to meet minus 20 now already, then in 2020 we should go to minus 30. But then if you have a higher ambition, you need to solve the hot air. So it's a bit of a strange attitude the EU is taking. They say we are already on track now, so that would mean you can have a higher ambition. The hot air is maybe not an issue, but it's only not an issue if we keep the same ambition level. And that is the problem. That is really the problem. We have to step up our ambition, and in order to make it a real ambition, have really to get rid of the hot air.
I mean, we've heard this term ambition level several times now, usually in a very negative sense. The ambition levels simply aren't high enough. At the same time, we're struggling to reach agreement on the low ambition levels already set. I mean, is there simply just a fear of political failure? Individual countries, bodies like the European Union, simply have a fear of failure, perhaps after Copenhagen, that ambition levels are simply being set too low. Meanwhile, the world gets warmer.
Yeah, but the problem is, at this stage, at the global level, a debate on the ambition level is postponed. So now it's far more important as a region, as a country, to set your own level of ambition. And that is, of course, you have it under control of yourself. And the EU can decide today to go to minus 30. They're not dependent of China or the US. They can do it today, because we all know the future is a green economy. And the only way to get to a green economy first is by acting now. So where the hell is the EU waiting for?
I mean, is the sticking point that you need a unanimous approval for climate change issues in the EU? I mean, can the rest of the EU, will the rest of the EU have to simply tell Poland, you're not playing the game, I mean, you're out of this, the rest of the EU will go it alone without Poland, without other countries which are holding on to their AAUs?
Interestingly enough, I mean, EU countries, they do have a kind of a veto here at the COP, but they don't have it at the European level. If the Commission proposes to go to minus 30, it is a qualified majority voting. Then one country like Poland cannot oppose it. So the EU should do their homework at home and then come to the COP with a very ambitious proposal. But what they're doing is they're not coming with a proposal at home, then they are stuck here, and then you have the problem of the veto. So it is really, the EU is dragging his feet, and that's the problem. And the longer we are doing that, the more power we give to countries like Poland, and that is the problem. And that is something that Hedegaard should tackle, and then she can really say that we are leading here the negotiations, but unfortunately now we're not.
Okay, so just to sum up your message to the COP18, the Green Party within the EU, what would that be in a couple of sentences?
It's going to be EU, step up your ambition and really deliver on your climate leadership, and to the rest of the world, people, the future is a green economy, and you can all drag your feet, but the future is there. We have to get rid of our fossil reliance, and you can move as the latest, and then you don't have your competitive advantage, or you can do it first and your industry will be of a competitive advantage to everyone. And that is the message that should be here. The green economy is here to stay, and you better move first and wait to the others.